Hey YouTube world, I am back with another video. Today I just want to talk about the trend or the mentality of dumping your entire luxury collection or having a low buy or no buy year. No shade to anybody who is going through that. It is your own journey. Every journey is very personal. How we approach purchasing goods, purchasing purses is a very personal evolution in my opinion. So let's just have a conversation about it. There's no wrong or right answer. I want to share my thoughts and opinions on what I am not planning on doing is low buy or no buy. So let's just get into it. So this is actually sharing a little bit about my personal life, right? I did not come from a wealthy family. I was comfortable, right? My parents raised me as if I thought we were poor. Let's just put it that way. They were frugal people. If my parents knew how much money, well, my mom knows, my dad, if he knew how much money I spent on purses, he would probably have a heart attack. I would say over the years, ever since I was little, I have always loved purses. And so did my mom. She was never into luxury designer goods or anything, but we both love fashion. My mom likes being pretty, and so do I. So having accessories and having pretty clothes is always something that we bonded over. And back in the day, I was very happy. I would go to some street markets over in Asia and buy like a $2 bag or a $5 bag and be thrilled about it. So my love for purses started very young, even though it's not at the level it is today. And over the years, as it progressed, I have shifted from the whole, like, let's buy Tory Burch, let's buy Kate Spade, let's buy Coach. At one point, I actually really liked bought gear, and I also went through the phases of Mulberry. I basically bought what I could afford with what money I had. I went to TJ Maxx and purchased, $30 bags and was completely thrilled by it. I was even super excited with the cosmetic totes or, when you purchase perfume, they have those giveaways and it had really pretty totes. I had a Lancome one I wore forever that was just multicolor stripes. I wore that thing to death. So my love for purses undoubtedly was real and passionate. And some people might think that like, oh my goodness, you're spending so much money on these purses, which are basically a sunk cost if you really think about it. Everybody's talking about how these are investments. They're kind of investments, but really they're not, unless you're talking about like the Birkin or maybe like an Hermes Kelly. It's a gamble. It's just like, again, I'm in the wealth management world. Everybody's talking about being a day trader or stock picking like Apple stock, Nvidia stock, whatever it is. Personally, I'm not smart enough to do stock picking, and I know that the risk is really high. And we saw that, right? Like a lot of people spend a lot of money on Balenciaga. One thing can happen and that brand just tanks, right? And all of a sudden, let's just say I don't have like 10 Balenciaga bags, but all of that money would have been a sunk cost and you would have lost your ass on it if you had 10 different Balenciaga bags. So it's the same thing. You got to have diversification, which is why I like to have a nice range of different brands and of course indie brands, which if you think about it, smaller companies usually don't get the scrutiny that the larger companies get. And I won't be feeling weird like, oh, I'm wearing indie brands and then they go under fire. Nobody would know. Not that I'm supporting that or anything. I also make sure that I have my priorities straight, right? I got out of college. I made sure to invest in real estate first, right? Having investment accounts, having retirement accounts. Another passion of mine is saving money, right? That is all about talking, purchasing less in retail, which I'll get to in a moment here, and how to shop smarter, right? I made sure that my financial situation is much more stable before I start spending money on, frivolous things like handbags. And over the years, I've kind of comes in ebbs and flows when it comes to purchasing bags. There's a lot of years that I purchase maybe one or two, and then there are years that I purchase way too many bags. But some of the categories that I've written down, and I was just like reflecting, oh my goodness, I spent a lot of money on all of these different categories like fine dining. After college, it's like, woo, I've got a little bit of money now. Let's go experience and be bougie and spend a lot on fine dining, where we would drop, $200, $300 on a meal, which is ridiculous if you think about it. Most people would do that maybe once a year or twice a year, celebrating an anniversary, celebrating a birthday. My boyfriend and I were doing this on a weekly basis. Looking back at it, yes, those experiences were great, but it's just like, we shouldn't have done that. And of course, going out drinking, right? Especially nowadays, I am completely jaded by the whole drinking and, fine dining, because after COVID, there's a point to this. After COVID, I had spent a lot of time making food, perfecting some of the recipes that I've, tried over the years during lockdown. And I guess my standard of food is just like, I don't know if that's worth it. Like, I just dropped, let's just say 30, 40, 50 bucks on a dish. And I'm just like, they could have done this better. They could have done that better. I'm just not impressed. I've quote unquote ruined myself by spending so much money and time and effort into fine dining. Now nothing impresses me. And honestly, nowadays, like my boyfriend and I, we rather go to some hole in the wall. I don't need to be serviced in a way for a meal where I get up and they fold my napkin and put it nicely on my chair or whatever. I don't need any of that. I rather go to a hole in the wall at some taco place or some, Chinese place, whatever it is, where the service is terrible, let's just say, and the food is phenomenal. That's where I'd rather spend my money. And again, just to go on a tangent here, list of skincare where I spend way too much money. Skincare, plants, kitchen houseware, home decor, furniture, just like a lot of money has been spent on that. And I think I've gotten my fix. I try to go buy more plants. My boyfriend's like, you don't need any more plants. Stop it. And coming back to purses, that is the one, I guess, true love I have is always purses and accessories, but mostly purses. And talking a little bit about how I've established myself, I made sure I'm really well set financially. And just because I'm set financially doesn't mean I need to go blow my money on retail prices when it comes to purchases. And of course, I would say I got spoiled by having discounts. My friend who really got me onto the next level when it comes to purchasing different designer purses, if she's watching this, it's your fault. But we also just keep reminiscing about those days, is because she worked at Barney's, and Barney's, I have access to all of these different designer bags for 50, 60, sometimes like ridiculously, 70 to 80% off. And I'm used to those prices. Once you've gotten a taste of that, you cannot go back. And it's all about shopping smarter, right? So my whole channel's model is about less than retail. If you can find a discount, then you definitely, whether it's a 10% discount or, a welcome discount of 10, 15%, take advantage of that. And of course, my mom raised me saying, if it's not on sale, you do not need it. And personally, I don't think I need to purchase anything that is the latest and greatest. I purchase because I like it. I purchase not because of some trend, like lunar bags are all the rage right now. And obviously, I did purchase some lunar bags and realized it's not for me, but I do like that look. And obviously, with the world of social media and influencers, the more you see it, the more you think you want it, right? But at the end of the day, if it's past season and it's on discount and I like it, I will purchase it. I often go into boutiques and take a look at Louis Vuitton, take a look at, Celine or whatever. When it comes to retail prices, I'm not going to purchase it. The only time I would purchase from a boutique full price would probably be in Europe. But if you think about it, going to Europe, it's much cheaper, but you would save maybe 30, 40% off, maybe 20% compared to US prices. But for brands like Givenchy, Loewe, Celine, YSL, honestly, they go on discount here in the United States quite often enough that I don't need to spend money in Europe at retail prices just to get the VAT refund. The only time I would actually pay and go to the boutique and pay their quote unquote retail prices in Europe is Hermes, because that's not something I can purchase here at a discount via like Nordstrom's or Neiman Marcus or whatever it is. And of course, I do shop pre-loved as well. And I've done a lot of research. There's a lot of experience when shopping pre-loved, because there's always a risk when purchasing pre-loved. If you want to check out how I shop very smart in terms of pre-love, I'll make sure to link some videos and a playlist down below for you with tips and tricks. But that's another method of how I save money and shop well under retail. when it comes to pre-loved. So going back to the whole like no buy and low buy, I will not be participating in that just because, well, one, I have this YouTube, channel where I'm speaking to you guys, and obviously it does cause me to purchase more bags than I normally would. That is no lie. And I'm completely okay with that because I started this channel because I needed a creative outlet to talk about something I really enjoy. And that's, not my full-time job, my day job. And to kind of like add on to that, all you have to do, in my opinion, and I apply this to my life, is that I just have to shop smarter and a very curated kind of pick and keeping my collection at bay. It's getting out of control again, but keeping my collection at bay. In the world of overconsumption, and there is fatigue, which I've talked about how I'm over Louis Vuitton and the monogram specifically, there is luxury fatigue in terms of the big luxury brands, which again, my channel started with reviewing all of my designer brands, but have you noticed, people are wanting to look at indie brands and the smaller brands that are mid-range, and I've honed in on that because I resonated with that as well. Companies like W Concept, and then of course Open and The Horse. These are all the bags I have with me right now here in Chicago, so you're gonna see this a couple more times. That's how my handbag evolution has evolved to what it is today. And these pieces are all great quality pieces at a fraction of the cost of designer brands. Is this to say that I won't be purchasing from the big luxury? No, but it has to be good enough a discount, which you saw that I got this at a phenomenal price and I'll still purchase from them. And two, it needs to be unique enough for me to want to purchase it. So for those of you who have tuned into my channel, I really hope that you enjoyed me covering these mid-range brands because I find joy in discovering them. And of course, I do see a trend with all of the bigger, much established YouTubers, the seasoned YouTubers that are starting to explore these indie brands as well, or accepting gifts from these indie brands as well. There's a trend. I've noticed it. And if you have found me via the mid-range bags, or if you have, tuned in and really enjoyed my channel, I'm glad that I am able to help you explore new companies and new brands to purchase. Am I doing God's work? No, I'm not. These are, again, just frivolous things. But if I can help you save $100, $200, like the J.W. Anderson, thousands of dollars, I'm happy. So enough of my rambly video. I hope you enjoyed my kind of thought process here. Drop a comment down below. How many bags do you actually purchase a year? 1, 2, 10? I don't expect you as a, non-YouTuber, so to speak, to purchase bags at the speed and the rate that the rest of us on this content creator world. But what's realistic? Tell me. What do you consider low buy and no buy, right? And of course, let me know, have you started, moving away from big luxury to indie brands like The Horse? Are my videos actually helpful to you? So enough of my rambling here. I will stop it there. Come back for my next video twice a week. Like and hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Life is hard. I want to help you save time and money so that you can somehow adult easier and hopefully less than retail. I'll see y'all next time.